QR codes are everywhere, from restaurant menus to TV ads to every other thing that you get in the mail. But are you using them to grow your radio station's audience? With engagement rates soaring, these little black and white squares can drive app downloads, boost your website traffic, and even increase your revenue. Hi, it's Jim, and welcome to Better Radio Websites, the podcast that wants to help you get more visitors and the most revenue from your radio station website. Well, QR codes is what we're talking about this week, and the QR in QR code stands for Quick Response. It was created back in 1994 by Masahiro Hara over in China. He was working for a car parts manufacturing thing, and so he discovered that a grid system could store a whole lot more information and can be read from various directions and angles a whole lot better than regular barcodes could. Well, QR codes became quickly popular in China, but they didn't really catch on here in the US until the pandemic. Remember every restaurant menu becoming a QR code? I even missed a few meals because I didn't have my phone with me during that time. Well, QR codes are now widely used for all kinds of things, from business cards to mobile payments. I mean, gosh, you name it. Well, this also represents a excellent opportunity for your radio station. Get this, Nielsen Audio reported back in 2023 that QR code engagement among radio stations rose 35%, boosting brand recall by 30% and customer engagement for TV ads by 30%. This means that if you're creating any kind of video for your radio station, podcast, YouTube, anything on social media, include a QR code to drive website traffic, your mobile app downloads, or even podcast listening. You name it. I mean, think about it. It's a whole lot easier than typing in what might be a long website address. It's just point your camera at this little square and type. You just hit a button, and you're there. So I thought I'd run down some examples of how radio stations around the country have been using QR codes to boost digital engagement, like WTOP in Washington, D.C. They use QR codes sometime back to link listeners to podcast playlists during drive times. This resulted in increased podcast downloads, obviously, and app engagement during those peak listening hours. So, some action steps that you can take to kind of get some of these same results is to create a dedicated landing page on your website for your top podcast, and then display QR codes and TV ads, signage on the side of your vehicle, in posters during live events, all linking to this page. And you can track the scans using different measurement tools to measure engagement spikes and see how those codes are doing. WBAL in Baltimore, they strategically place QR codes on billboards around the city with the message scan for breaking traffic alerts. Well, this boosted their news app downloads like crazy and increased their real time traffic update engagement. Some steps that you can take to kind of get some of these same results is to maybe partner with a local billboard company for prime placements and create dedicated traffic update section within your app or your mobile your website, and then use dynamic QR codes to update the content without changing the billboard. That means that the QR code will stay the same, but where it links to may be different over time. All right. 95.1 FM in Chicago, the Omni channel, they partnered with Tone Audio Magazine to enhance digital engagement using QR codes in that magazine. That resulted in more mobile app downloads and interactive experiences. Some action steps that you can take to kind of get some of these same results: collaborate with local businesses, cross promote using QR campaigns. Like, for example, think about partnering with a pizza company and putting a QR code on every pizza box that says, "Hey, you're enjoying this great pizza. Have some music to go on to make it a whole lot better by downloading our mobile app and listening as you eat." That kind of thing. Offer exclusive in-app content to incentivize downloads. So give them a specific reason why they need to download and scan this code. And then again, rotate the QR code destinations to keep the content fresh and engaging. That way you can use the same sticker or flyer or whatever like that in multiple clients and locations and whatnot, but still not have to reprint it every single time. Intravision, the Hispanic radio network, they use QR codes on decals and posters to promote their Spanish language directory and contest at sponsor locations. They use this thing everywhere. Well, it provided faster access to promotions and information for mobile savvy listeners. They didn't have to go to their website, or maybe they didn't have a laptop with them or something like that. So this resulted in a whole lot faster access to everything that they had. Now, some action steps that you can take to get these same results: create bilingual QR code landing pages for diverse audiences, partner with local businesses to display these QR codes for contests or whatever, and then use geo targeting to deliver location specific content via the QR codes. That will be more than likely something that you'll have to do on the website, because the QR codes will only have one address, but still, once they get there, depending on their location, you could be delivering different content. And then our last kind of example of what stations are doing, Jacobs Media, they provided a long blog post on this some time ago, but their client stations implemented QR codes across various touch points to drive digital engagement. This increased their app downloads like crazy. It increased their contest entries, and it increased their email signups. Basically, everywhere they put a QR code, it increased whatever they were doing. Now, some action steps for this: add QR codes to station banners, put them on the side of your vehicles, link them to a menu of digital options. Use QR codes on wristbands at station events, or posters, signage. Maybe you have a logo at the rodeo or at a ballpark or something like that. Instead of putting the website address under there, put the website address and then immediately put a QR code next to it, so somebody doesn't have to remember the address. They can just point their phone at it and boom, they're there, and then they can bookmark it or download the app or whatever they need to do. And include QR codes on your business cards, linking to advertising resources. So if your sales team has a blank space on the back of their business cards, put a link and say, for advertising resources, scan this code. And so, when that is tracked, you'll be able to see how many advertisers are actually going to those locations.
Looking to maximize your radio station's digital presence? Skyrocket Radio delivers custom websites and mobile apps built exclusively for radio stations by radio professionals. Our websites engage listeners and drive revenue, while the integrated apps keep your audience connected wherever they are. It's a complete digital solution designed to boost your station's reach and ad sales. To take your station's online experience to the next level, visit skyrocketradio.com.
So some best practices for radio stations using QR codes: one, they have to be readable. Generate high resolution QR codes and keep the designs as simple as possible to ensure that they're easy scanning. Provide context. Always include a clear and enticing call to action explaining where the QR code will lead. This came to light a few weeks ago. As a matter of fact, I read something that folks were like in this city or something like that. They had just random QR codes posted around town, and they were actually linking to a website that took over their phone and got all the personal information and stuff like that. So that was very, very bad. What happened is that people's curiosity got the best of them, and they're like, "What's this QR code? Oh, let me scan it." It's no different than typing in a bad URL within your browser. It is the exact same. So include a clear and enticing call to action on why somebody would use this QR code and then what they're going to get from it. Focus on the benefit to the listener. And then think about strategic placement. Again, like I said, any video that the station creates, like YouTube, social media, live feeds, they're going to be on TV or something like that in a TV commercial. Be sure that that QR code is present there. On screen during concerts and events, you have your logo up there, put a QR code right next to it. Station merchandise, event signage, the station vehicle, any kind of print media that your station is involved with. If you have magazines and stuff like that, or maybe your station is being featured in a local magazine, have them include in that write-up or whatever your QR code so people can easily download your mobile app or go directly to a specific page on your website. And then number 4 is track analytics. Use QR code generators. A lot of them come with built-in analytics. And so it tracks every time it's used. So you'll be able to see how many people are actually scanning that code. Some places do not have this analytics built in. So what you'll need to do is include a tracked URL, one that you are actually tracking in Google Analytics or some other analytics software. All right. But either way, you do want to try to track the effectiveness of that QR code and how many people are actually clicking on it. That is very, very important. And then consider the lifespan. For printed materials, use dynamic QR codes, ones that can be updated without reprinting. For example, let's say that you have this QR code, and for this certain period of time, you want people to go and enter this contest. Contest is not going to last forever, but you want to keep the QR code for maybe something later on. This is printed in a magazine. Well, a magazine may sit on somebody's table for months or even years. And so if they go to scan this QR code, well, the contest is no longer there. But change that with a dynamic QR code and one that you can change the URL over time. So maybe after a certain period of time, it goes back to the home page or goes to the list of contests or something like that. And then be sure to test your QR codes frequently. Yes, scan them yourself. Go in and pull out your phone and you can scan the QR codes and ensure that they are working correctly. And then, of course, optimize for mobile. Yes, you want to ensure that the landing pages that these QR codes are linking to are mobile friendly and that they load very, very quickly because they're always going to be loading this on a mobile device. So you want to be sure that wherever they land is going to be mobile optimized. Number 8 is contrast is key. Use high contrast colors. Most of these are black on white, the black code on the white background. And some of them, they give you the opportunity to change the colors, but you want to be sure that the contrast is very, very large. If not, then the QR code reader may have trouble reading it. And or it's hard to scan or something like that, then if that's the case, then you're not going to see those engagement numbers increase. You're going to have a lot of frustrated people, and so it's just a bad thing. Number 9 is size. Be sure that you stick with the ideal ratio of the scanning distance to the QR code. It should be about 10 to 16. That's roughly a square. So you want to be sure that your QR code falls in these parameters. And then number 10, you may want to educate your listeners. Just briefly explain how to use QR codes for the less savvy audience members that you may have. If you have a classic country station, there may be a little bit of a learning curve there. All right. So I'm just saying is you may want to, if you're going to use QR codes, understand your audience. And if you need to educate them and say, hey, look for our QR codes because that's going to link directly to our contest page, blah, 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 blah. All right. So hopefully this has helped you by following these best practices. You can effectively use QR codes to drive your app downloads, increase your website traffic, boost your engagement for both your content, the people that are actually coming to your website for content, and for your advertisers as well. Remember that the key is providing value and convenience to your listeners through this technology. It's not just some kind of cool thing just because everybody else is doing it, I need to do it. This is actually, you're providing a value and a convenience for listeners to get what they don't know yet, but they want to go there anyway. All right. And you're going to give them a value to do that. All right. Hopefully this content has helped. If it has, please share it out with your radio colleagues. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And then wherever you get this podcast, be sure to leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing and if you'd like to see anything else in future episodes. We're here to cover everything about your radio station digital presence to help you get more visitors and to get more revenue. And hey, if you need help with your radio station website, we're here for that as well. Reach out to us at skyrocketradio.com. Have an awesome week online making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.